Secretary Hegseth, that is obviously in direct contradiction to what you said from the Pentagon podium the next day. So are you saying that these soldiers, our soldiers, who survived this horrific attack are lying?
Minutes earlier, Congressman Pat Ryan had read the words of a wounded American soldier out loud. What followed turned into one of the most personal confrontations of Hegseth's tenure. This is the House Armed Services Committee, April 2026, 5 months after a drone strike in Kuwait killed 6 American soldiers. Here's how the question actually started.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Head wounds, heavy bleeding, and then just shrapnel all over. So folks are bleeding from their abdomen, bleeding from arms, bleeding from legs. Secretary Hegseth, do you know who said that?
I'm not sure I do.
It was one of our soldiers describing the devastating Iranian drone strike at Port Shuaibah, March 1st in Kuwait. As you know, 6 of our soldiers killed, over 30 wounded. Secretary, do you know the range of the Shahed 136 one-way attack drone, approximately?
It depends on the variant, but it's got serious distance.
Several hundred miles. Mm-hmm. Do you know how far Port Shuaibah is from Iran?
There's a reason why we took extreme measures of force protection, because we understood the proximity challenges.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to reclaim my time. It's well under 100 miles. Before the war started, there was clear intelligence that Shuaibah was high on Iran's target list. Internal analysis had said the site was indefensible from aerial attack and should not be used. Yet you sent our soldiers from the 103rd Sustainment Command there anyway. Is that true or false? True or false? Straightforward question.
Are you going to give me a chance to answer or just play gotcha?
Did you send them there or not?
We took proactive measures from the beginning to ensure force protection and defensive posture were maximized across the theater.
Let's talk about what defenses they had. Prior to the attack, officers on the ground knew our troops were vulnerable. In fact, they requested additional force protection. Did they receive it?
Wherever humanly possible, force protection and counter UAS was always made available.
They did not. In fact, when asked to describe the base's defense, one survivor who's come forward from the unit said, quote, I would put it in the none category. From a drone defense capability, none. So let's be clear, no counter-drone capabilities, no counter-rocket systems, no counter-mortar or counter-artillery, not even the basic overhead protection that you and I had 20 years ago in Iraq, and now 6 of our soldiers are dead. The next day, you downplayed the attack. You said it was a squirter that squeaked through fortified defenses. But since then, thankfully, brave survivors have come forward to set the record straight. One of our surviving soldiers told CBS, quote, painting a picture that one squeaked through is a falsehood. Another said the unit was, quote, unprepared to provide any defense for itself. It was not a fortified position. Another survivor said the building's protection was about as weak as one gets. Secretary Hegseth, that is obviously in direct contradiction to what you said from the Pentagon podium the next day. So are you saying that these soldiers, our soldiers, who survived this horrific attack are lying?
What I'm saying is before the commencement of the conflict, we put in maximum defensive posture we could.
That's a direct contradiction.
We moved 70
to what they said.
In this directing. Can I speak, or are you just going to monologue falsehoods all over the place?
It's not a falsehood.
We moved 7,500 troops off of the X based on the intel.
Stop.
Based on the intel.
Stop. Reclaiming my time.
Because you yell doesn't make you right. Just because you yell doesn't make you right.
I'm reclaiming my time on behalf of these survivors. You just said what they said is a falsehood.
There's a much larger picture.
True?
There's a much larger picture at play here that included integrated air defenses, bunkers, moving people off
then
the
why,
X
Mr. Secretary,
to ensure that they were
dead?
not part of the target. We moved those troops and all across the theater, thousands of troops off the X, off of their bases, because we knew what Iran was going to try to strike, and we knew there could be a tragic moment. There could be a tragic moment where something could get through. Of course, that's the consequence of conflict, and we remember those 6 every single day.
I want to finish.
But don't play games with.
I'm not playing games. I want to finish with one more quote from a survivor of the attack, and I put this on the record. Telling the truth is important, and we're not going to learn from these mistakes if we pretend these mistakes didn't happen. Secretary Hegseth, those soldiers told the truth. Those soldiers are braver than you are.
I commend them.
They are asking
that
for accountability.
Lasted 5 minutes. What happened right after it is worth watching, too, because the very next member to speak took the opposite approach entirely. Same hearing, same war.
Mr. Fallon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Hegseth, I want to tell you something right now. You focused our military once again, and finally, and you've shaped it into the meritocracy, and you've dramatically increased the United States' ability to project power and, when needed, lethality. And I mean, and as a result, our deterrents have never been more evident the world over. So thank you. General Kane, you mentioned in your opening remarks George Marshall. He was a great American, and so are you. Secretary Hegseth, what do you know of any nation state that ever enriched uranium to 60% that then didn't make a nuclear weapon?
Well, first of all, I want to second your comments about the chairman, and I agree. I appreciate how he does his job. Usually when a country pursues at that level, it's pursuing a nuclear weapon.
100% of the countries that have reached 60% enrichment have then produced a nuclear weapon. And is it true that Iran was in the process of building such a swarm of UAVs and ballistic missile shield conventionally once they wanted to bake the cake because they had all the ingredients to make the nuclear weapon, it would have been damn near impossible for us or anyone else to prevent them?
As I pointed to, the president was wise enough to understand.
How long was World War II? You have any idea? In days? I have it right here. In days, exactly.
I got to multiply by 365, but
yeah, it's 1,347 days. Korea was 1,129, and our involvement in World War I, which was rather quick, was 585. How long we've been involved in Iran?
Just shy of 60 days.
60 days, 2 months. And what is the degradation of their Navy right now, Secretary?
Their conventional Navy is destroyed. They had 3 drone aircraft carriers. They have none. They had 11 submarines. They had none. They had
2 members back to back, same day. One demanding accountability for 6 dead soldiers, the other framing the same war as a historic act of decisive leadership. Neither exchange happened in a vacuum. Days after the strike, one of the survivors, Sergeant First Class Corey Hicks, spoke to reporters from his hospital bed at Walter Reed. He described hearing a buzzing noise, turning his head, and seeing the drone come through before the building blew apart. And this didn't end with the hearing. Weeks later, Congressman Ryan and Senator Elizabeth Warren formally opened a joint congressional investigation into the strike. Hegseth's position that troops were repositioned where possible and that some risk is an unavoidable consequence of war is his own account, included here in full. Fallon's framing that this was a historic, decisive campaign against a nuclear-armed threat is also his own, on the record. Whether those competing accounts ultimately withstand the investigation is still an open question. What the public record already shows is something much simpler. 6 American soldiers died, survivors challenged the official account, and one congressman looked the Secretary of Defense in the eye and asked a question he never fully answered. Subscribe for the next hearing, broken down clip by clip, straight from the public record.